Hi guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor and your leverage for change. So today I'm going to be speaking about what it looks like when someone has poor boundaries. And this is important because, this is very important guys, because with when someone has poor boundaries, it is really a sign of self-abandonment. So of course, this is going to be with the attachment styles, particularly with the attachment styles of the fearful avoidant, right? But specifically the anxious, preoccupied attachment style individual. This is something that is one of the markers for someone with these two attachment styles, the anxious preoccupied and the fearful avoidant attachment style, but specifically the anxious preoccupied attachment style individual. Before I get into this guys, please like this video for me, because it does help with my reach across YouTube, and it just helps to promote my video to other people. So I really appreciate that you just hit that like button, and also subscribe if you find that my content that I give here freely on YouTube is something that really benefits you and may also benefit someone else when you share it as well. So don't forget to like it for me. So going into the boundaries, and why it is that boundaries, that individuals who cannot seem to create or maintain boundaries with those around them can really be in a place of really overwhelm, constant overwhelm. And I'm going to give you some signs that will kind of dictate if this individual has poor boundaries. So someone who constantly feel the need to explain everything they do, why they do it, and it's a way of oversharing things that you should really keep to yourself. You just feel that you have to overshare and tell everybody everything that you're doing, why you're doing it. It's almost like you need their approval. This is one of those signs, guys, that you feel that is going to signify that you have poor boundaries. All right. The next thing is taking on the guilt for everything done to hurt you. So other people are hurting you, right? Other people hurt you, yet you are the one who feel guilty for them hurting you. It's almost as if you're saying to yourself that you must be doing something wrong, or something to them, or something that doesn't, that they don't like, why they're hurting you. So you never really blame anyone else or say this is the person doing this to me. You're saying, okay, if they do this to me, it's my fault. I'm somehow responsible for how they treat me. And so that's another thing, guys, you'll notice with someone who has poor boundaries. The other thing is feeling guilty if you take time for yourself. So you may be working hard and you're doing the best that you can do, and you're doing everything that you can possibly do, and you're doing most things right. Nobody can do everything right, because we have this limited time and limited resource to do things right. But however, this individual who has poor boundaries will feel as if they'll feel guilty if they take time, just a little bit of time, to go to the movies, to go spend some time with friends, to go to the gym, to go on a vacation, to go with some friends, to go to dinner, whatever it might be, or even taking time to read a book at home. If you're not, if you feel that you're responsible for everybody else around you, then taking a little bit of time for your own self to really just build up yourself, they feel guilty about that. If somebody's like that, guys, or if you're feeling that way, if that is you have poor boundaries. You have poor boundaries. Another thing is this person will not be able to say no to anyone. It's like everybody comes to them because they know they're going to say yes, even at their own inconvenience. And people will do this to you, guys. You have to recognize that when you don't have boundaries, people will take, and they don't care how much is left for you. You keep for yourself. They'll take to the very last drop. And so you have to learn to really keep your boundaries and maintain them, and keep them, create them and maintain them, because creating a boundary is fine, but you have to maintain those boundaries, because when you create boundaries, when you create a boundary, guys, if at first you allowed people to do the things that you're going to now create a new boundary for, don't be surprised if they're going to try and test you to break those boundaries that you now recently created. Because guess what? You've always allowed these actions, right? You've always allowed these actions, and now all of a sudden you're telling me I can't do this, or I can't get this, or you won't do this. That's what's going to happen when you create a new boundary. So you have to be able to maintain and stick to your guns and maintain those boundaries that you create, right? The next thing is, like, for example, some people will just want money, like you're giving them money all the time, even though you're not a millionaire or anything, but you're just always giving them money if they need it, at the detriment of yourself, right? You're giving them money, or you're always running errands for them, even though they can do it themselves, or they want you last minute to come do this, go pick up that for me, whatever it might be, even though you have responsibilities that you have to take care of, but you neglect your responsibilities to the detriment of your whole life, and do for others when others won't do it for themselves. All right. The next thing, guys, another thing that you'll notice is that anytime someone asks you to do something, it's almost like you feel forced. There's this thing inside of you, because you don't have any boundaries. You feel forced to do this thing, but you're not forced. Remember, you're an adult. You have control over your own life. You can determine whether you want to do something or not. But somehow, and a lot of this comes from the way you grew up. Maybe your parents made you feel that way when you were a child, that if somebody asked you to do something, you just did it without even at your own, even when you're uncomfortable doing it. And so a lot of these things come up into your adult relationships with friends, family members, and different people. And the thing about it is that you're always doing these things. You're doing it kind of like, you're not doing it intentionally for somebody to like you, but that's the expectation. That's the expectation. So when somebody does not reciprocate maybe that loyalty for you doing all these things for them, then you begin to feel resentful, and it hurts, because you expected someone that you're doing all these things for all your life to be there for you if you need them. And when you need them and they don't turn up for you, that really can cause a lot of pain for you. All right. So and another thing is that some individuals who don't create good boundaries, or any boundaries whatsoever, is that they're going to be hanging out. Somebody invites them over to go drink or clubbing or whatever, but they don't like doing that thing, but they just feel they need to go because this person asked them, right? Or because the people might think badly of them, they might not like them, they may not invite them out anymore, and so they force themselves into these situations where they are uncomfortable, but they do not have the self-confidence or whatever it might take for them to say no. I don't like hanging out somewhere like that. And so they end up sometimes going into these places that people are maybe smoking and taking drugs, and they don't take drugs, and now something happens and police will come or something, they get into trouble, and they're caught up into this thing because they never set their boundaries, and they never stood by their boundaries and said no. I don't feel comfortable in that kind of surroundings. So this can cause a lot of problems, not only just with your internal thing, but physically, if you get arrested and be sent to prison because you're with the wrong crowd. All right, so you have to really create your boundaries, guys. So another way of noticing or recognizing that you don't have you don't have any boundaries is you allow people to talk down to you. They may minimize you, use you, and maybe you're the butt of their jokes, but you still allow this. You don't say no. That's not going to work for me. Or you distance yourself from these people. You keep going back to these people because even though they treat you like dirt, really, and they minimize you, talk down to you, use you as a butt of their jokes, but you still continue because you just feel somehow that you need to do this because you have no boundaries. All right. The next thing, guys, is that when people actually hurt you or do something that's not good to you, you continually make excuses for them. You're always making, always because they're that, always because maybe that, or maybe it's because of that. You never, you take all the responsibility for their behavior, right? And you're always making excuses for their behavior. That's another sign that you have no boundaries, guys. The other thing is, as a result of this having no boundaries now, guys, you're going to, you always feel out of control in your life. Because really, when you have no boundaries, your life really isn't yours, because you're at the you're at the mercy of everybody and everything, because whatever everybody says, so you're being pulled in every direction. Always feel like you're being pulled, and you're like, you don't have any direction of your own because you have no boundaries. So if somebody's pulled you here, you're gone there, you're gone there. So after a while, you become very resentful. After a while, especially when you recognize that you are just in this chaotic, you're just moving at this chaotic pace and in this feeling of overwhelm all the time. That can be, you're always feeling tired because you're just always doing for others. You're always doing for others, and you're always abandoning yourself. So you never feel satisfied with who you are. You don't even know who you are, because guess what? You don't know who you are because everybody else is telling you who you are by the way they're treating you and the way that you are allowing them to just do whatever it is that they please. Because you're this is another way of saying this, is that you people please because you need validation from others. You have this tendency and you just feel that you need validation from others. You need other people to love you. So your life is really not yours, right? And you feel out of control. You feel at the mercy of everybody else. Everybody else controls your mood, whether you're happy, you're sad, you're miserable. It's been controlled by others. You don't, because you just let go of the reins of your life and give everybody else control because you don't have any boundaries, right? And so, of course, this is, and that's accompanied by all this feeling, consistent, chronic feeling of overwhelm, confusion, because you don't know where to go, what you're doing, who you are, what you want in your life, because everybody tells you what, you're looking at outside of yourself for validation, for everything, for love, for everything else. And so you don't know who you are, right? You feel this constant feeling of blame, shame, guilt, and eventually resentment, because you recognize that you're really unhappy and you recognize that it's because of all the things that you're doing. However, you don't know how to stop it. So guys, this is something that I work with my clients on, to really create boundaries and maintain those boundaries, because for someone who's just never had any boundaries, it's really hard to do it by themselves, because as soon as someone try to test those boundaries again, because they've always gotten away with doing things a certain way, then what happens is that they just break and just break and do what it is that person did, even though they made a commitment to creating a boundary around that thing. So guys, I help individuals with this because this is one of those things, especially for the individual with the anxious, preoccupied attachment style and also the fearful, avoidant attachment style, that they really have a challenge with that. So if you find that this information is something that that is valuable for you guys, maybe it's also valuable for someone else that you may know. So please like this video again for me. Please share it with friends, and also subscribe to help me build my channel. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. Take care and keep growing. Bye-bye.